Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the Launchpad and our live countdown to launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 11-20, set to launch from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together, and we're glad to have you joining us live here today. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us, and let us know in the chat where you're watching from. I'll do some shout outs in just a moment. We are counting down now just over 35 and a half minutes till liftoff of SpaceX Starlink 11-20. Today's mission is set to launch 28 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Today's booster is booster 1063, going for its 28th flight on a 33-day turnaround. This booster previously supported Sentinel-6, DART Transporter 7, Iridium OneWeb, SDA-0B, NRL-113, 167, and 149, NAOS, and 18 previous Starlink missions. SpaceX's drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, is stationed downrange in the Pacific Ocean, ready to recover today's booster, as well as their support ship downrange to recover today's fairings. Now, as there is with any of these flights from Vandenberg, there is a possibility that residents in Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and Ventura counties may hear one or more sonic booms during today's launch, obviously all given based on your current weather conditions, cloud cover, and things like that. As I said, today's mission is a drone ship landing, so no return to launch site, but today is the return of what we call the Coast Hugger missions, and you can see that there actually on your screen. We've added in the telemetry on the launch track of where today's mission is, that green line on your screen. No, you're not seeing things weirdly. You're seeing double. These are two different imageries showing the difference in the cloud versus the types of cloud height. The higher the cloud, the higher chance that there's some participation in those. The one on the left just showing generic cloud cover, but also gives us that idea of day to night conditions. So you can see those night lights come online in the Los Angeles basin just to the southeast of the launch site. But that green line, that's the trajectory of today's flight. It's called a coast hugger, as these ones do stay quite a bit closer to the shore. So if you do happen to be in the Los Angeles, San Diego, or Baja California area and get photos or videos of today's flight, make sure you send us those over on social media on X at TLPN_official, or join our community Discord. That's where our community hangs out in between streams. We love seeing what you guys are up to in the community. It's a great place to ask questions in between streams as well. Link is in the comments and in the description, so make sure you take a moment and join us over there. Well, as we are now 33 minutes and 10 seconds and counting to liftoff, SpaceX is continuing through their mission timeline here today. The clock's continuing to tick down. At 35 minutes into the count, that is when RP-1 rocket-grade kerosene began loading onto the first and second stage. Liquid oxygen also began loading onto the first stage, so at this time we should be into propellant load based on the countdown clock still running. At T-minus 16 minutes, liquid oxygen will begin loading onto the second stage. Now that we've run through a little bit of everything that we know for today's flight, we're going to do some shout-outs here where everyone's watching from, so let us know in the chat. Share out the stream while you do. Chaz is watching from Oklahoma. We got Princess in Canada. Randy is in Pennsylvania. We got Mike in Columbus, Ohio. Uncle Yukon is in Seattle, Washington. We got Jimmy Gray in Florida. Canada Boys in Vancouver Island, or on Vancouver Island. Welcome. We got Gator Fits in Florida on the Space Coast. Margaret's in Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania. Great to have you here. Randy's in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. We got Jeff in Traverse Bay, Manitoba. Great to see another Canadian in the house. Got family from Manitoba. Let's see who else we got checking in tonight. We got John from Florida. Timaha, sorry if I said that wrong, is watching from Texas. We got Mike Johnson, who's watching from Renton, West Virginia, saying it's 72 degrees. Sounds beautiful here. For the jellyfish, it's not likely that we're going to see exactly a jellyfish tonight, as it has pushed later after the sunset window, but it is what we call a very visible launch. So this might not have a full jellyfish effect, but that plume might be more visible than a normal like late night launch or daytime launch. So it is definitely a possibility for you guys to have an incredible view if you do happen to be in the region for today's flight. At last look, anyone from San Francisco, just barely to Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson, Albuquerque, obviously Los Angeles, the entire Baja of California, and then including a good portion of Mexico, all the way to just before Monterrey in Mexico, and down to some of the southern portions of Mexico, do have a chance of seeing today's very visible flight. So again, if you do see photos or videos today, make sure you send us those. If you send them in soon enough, we'll try to get them on screen for this broadcast, or maybe we'll feature them on a future broadcast where it is a very visible launch as well. So just make sure you're tagging us at TLPN_official, or send them in to us over on Discord. If you guys are interested in becoming part of the TLP crew, we've got some big projects underway for 2026. Not only is it the year of Artemis and hopefully an orbital Starship and many other things with Starship, there's a lot of other projects we got underway that we can't wait to show you, some even possibly by the end of the year. Members, of course, are going to get early access, but if you're interested in becoming part of the TLP crew, either joining myself in launch commentary, maybe you want to be a producer helping flick the switches to make the streams run, maybe you're interested in writing space history or space data articles covering the history of space, maybe you're a rocket chaser and you live near a launch site, or maybe you just like helping keeping the chat flowing, answering questions, and keeping it a safe place for everyone, and you want to be a moderator, take a minute, fill out that crew application. Interviews are underway, and we're excited to have so many of you join the crew as volunteers as we continue with our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because space is better together. Lots of people just jumping on. It's great to have you all here today. We got Zombie in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. We got Money here in Virginia. Capital B's in Toronto. Hello, how's it going? Chris Lambert is in San Diego, California. You should get a great view here tonight, Chris. Hopefully you can pull out your camera and capture something for yourself. Byron is in Oregon. We got Serenity in Florida. Henry's in Belize. Welcome. We got Steve in Newport Beach, California. Great to see you here as well. As always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad, and I'll work on answering those live to the best of my abilities while we continue through today's broadcast. Catching up, checking in with our team here. I like the robot voice. This is not a robot voice. I am real. I am not a robot. I am a human being. Subscribe. Unless it's actually coming through robotic, then let me know. Maybe OBS is having one of those moments. Someone says I'm feeling tired. We'll return soon. I understand. It's a late night for some people in the world, so we appreciate you being here. Red Skies tuning in from Dana Point, California. Great to see you. We got Greg in Sydney, Australia. Richard's in Tonopah, Nevada, with a great view. Awesome. Welcome. Great to see so many of you jumping in here tonight. Some regulars as well. If you guys have questions, send those in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad. Denise says, you sound better, Zach. I appreciate that. I'm still chugging a little bit through this cold. It made a little bit of a return today, but having a very excited teething puppy keeps you energetic. So it has definitely helped bring some boost of energy into the house and into work, and a little bit of a distraction from work as well. So we're going with it, but we're feeling good. Rudd, will you live stream the Rocket Lab launch in 22 hours? Let me double check, because I believe that's a haste one. Yeah, so that launch, unfortunately, is a haste launch from Rocket Lab. It's technically not even an Electron. It's a haste Electron. So unfortunately, Rocket Lab doesn't generally do live coverage of those. We are working to get some crew out to Wallops and some other ideas on how we could cover those in the future starting next year. So unfortunately for this one, no, we won't be able to cover that live, but know that we are working on plans on how we will be able to do that in the future. If you're just joining us, we're counting down T-minus 26 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting till the scheduled liftoff of SpaceX Starlink 11-20 from Space Launch Complex 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Keep sending in those comments and questions in the chat by tagging me at the Launchpad, and we'll work on answering those live. We got Karen watching from Michigan, USA. Welcome. We got R&R watching from Hesperia, California. You've been there a few times. Good to see you. Wiz is in Maricopa, Arizona. Fingers crossed. Did this scheduled launch get pushed back? Yes. So this was scheduled to launch earlier in the evening. It has slipped into its launch window. Now that we are less than 39 minutes to launch and fueling has begun, we are locked in to tonight's launch opportunity, and this was basically the end of the opportunity here this evening. If they need to, for any reason, a backup opportunity would be as early as tomorrow. Great question. Thanks for sending that in. There we go, Uncle Yukon. Thanks for jumping in all the stats there. Yeah, targeting 7:04 p.m. local launchpad time, 10:04 p.m. Eastern, which is math 3:04 a.m. UTC, if I did that math right on the top of my head. And put some pictures of the new puppy on your channel so us animals lovers can see them. I'll drop a couple in the Discord chat. I took some more today. But he's a little hoot. He just ran over, gave some kisses, and is laying down here next to me. I'm in the living room. I'm not even in the studio today. Yes, I'm talking about you. Yes, I am. Now he's looking at me. (1-800) Thanks for answering my question. I'm in Huntington Beach. Will you be able to see it? You should be able to. Yeah, as long as you got clear conditions here this evening, you should have a great line of sight. On your screen now, that green line, that thin green line that you see twice on your screen, that is the trajectory of today's flight. And basically, if you can see yourself anywhere else on the radar image, you should be able to see the flight today, given weather conditions are clear enough. The view area is quite large for the current conditions, all the way up to San Francisco, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, Phoenix, most of California, all of Baja California. So really great opportunity here tonight, and at a nice time that it's not too late into the day for many people to be having a late dinner or home with their kids and be able to look up and see an incredible SpaceX Falcon 9 launch. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's another Starlink. Isn't it amazing that we get to say that? 10 years ago, we were begging for a launch a month or a launch a quarter. And now we are like, oh my goodness, we have 3 launches or 4 launches today. It's just really exciting. And it's just going to get busier and busier and busier. Some news out of Blue Origin. They have announced that they are going to be bringing 3 new rockets online in the next year to bring up their launch cadence to weekly launches for New Shepard from their current launch site. They're also in early plans to look at expanding and opening other launch pads. They're debating between expanding with another launch site at their current launch facility in West Texas, but are also reviewing ideas of launch facilities internationally or other locations in the United States to bring them online. So really exciting news out of Blue Origin for their suborbital New Shepard flights, that we may get to see those launch from other places in the world, but weekly New Shepard flights coming very soon, probably within next 6 to 12 months, which is really going to be exciting to see. Just more people get to experience that overview effect. Not a full astronaut perspective of being in orbit, but a taste of the overview effect, making that far more accessible to other people. Mike, I thought it was one of the ULA lasers. No, it's not the ULA laser. It's not. No, I promise. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are counting down the last 21 and a half minutes till the targeted liftoff time of SpaceX Starlink 11-20. On board today's mission, 28 Starlink V2 minis heading up to low Earth orbit. Catching up on your guys' comments and questions in the chat. You can keep sending those in. Uncle Yukon, great Zach, take care of your little critter. He's a cutie. Bentley's a cutie. Is there a set time? We just said that one. Yep, so 7:04 local time at the launch site, 10:04 p.m. Eastern time. I did want to make a quick note because I know I've seen a few people mention the last few streams. Our website is currently down. We're aware of this. That was intentional. We are working on a whole new platform overhaul. We know there was a lot of features that were not to the standard we would want them. And we learned a lot from the system that we built and ran up until last week. And we're excited for the next era of the TLP platform that is currently in process. But we are going to run the Apple method of we will release it when it's ready, but we're not going to leave something online that is broken. So that's why we ended up taking our current website down. So apologies on that. We don't have the launch calendar. We are doing our best to make sure the YouTube streams are pre-scheduled up to a week prior to launch. We're making sure to try to make sure that they are updated to the latest T0s within 6 hours of a time change. So it's a great way still to be able to stay tuned what launches we'll be covering, because they will be YouTube streams that will be pre-scheduled. So we're doing our best there. But also in the Discord, you can check in with the community on what's going to be launching that day in the community as well. These are so many satellites floating about. Yeah, there are a lot now. SpaceX has now launched more satellites than were launched in all of human history prior to SpaceX. Isn't that incredible? And that was surpassed a while ago. I think that was surpassed probably late last year. It's really, really incredible. Red, will you go to Starbase for the launch or SPI? I'm not going to be able to make this flight, unfortunately. I was hoping to. I was actually supposed to have surgery this week. If you want to know more, you can find me on YouTube or TikTok as the Project Zach. I go deeper into that there. I'm keeping it away from here at TLP. There is a small up-to-date video on the channel, though, if you want to know more. But unfortunately, because I got a cold or the flu, I did have to delay a month. So I should have been flying home tomorrow for Mexico, which would have been awesome. I would have been in San Diego for tonight's launch and got to see my first ever West Coast launch. Fingers crossed when I'm down in Mexico next month. End of October, we might get a treat like that as well. So here's hoping. It will be launching technically to the southeast. That green line on your screen, that is the launch trajectory. Catching up on the chat. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're now at L 17 minutes, 17 seconds and counting till liftoff of SpaceX Starlink 11-20. Taking a look at that launch timeline, I missed it by a couple of minutes, but at L 16 minutes, liquid oxygen began loading onto the second stage, meaning both the first and second stage are currently in active propellant loading of RP1, or rocket-grade kerosene, as well as LOX, liquid oxygen. At T 7 minutes, Falcon 9 will begin engine chill. That is when those 9 Merlin 1D engines on the base of Falcon 9 will be chilled in preparation for flight. At T 1 minute, the command flight computer will begin final pre-launch countdown checks, and Falcon 9 will take over the count. This is when Falcon 9 will also pressurize all of its tanks to flight level pressures. At T 45 seconds, the launch director will give a final go, no go for launch. And at T 3 seconds, the engine controller will command engine ignition on Falcon 9 ahead of liftoff at T0. Now, it's a question we've gotten before, and we're actually working on incorporating it a little bit better into our live streams. But in the top right corner, you see L minus, and I just said T minus when I was talking about launches. Those are both actually accurate. T minus and L minus, we see them more used by ULA and NASA, but technically all launch providers use them. The reason we use L minus in the top right corner, that's the real world time. 15 minutes, 47 seconds from now, launch should happen. If we had a T minus clock, and let's say we were launching a space shuttle or a space launch system for Artemis 2, there are what are called built-in holds to the countdown. So in the countdown, at T minus 4 hours, they might sit at T minus 4 hours and holding for 4 hours, which means at L minus 8 hours, the T minus clock would say 4 hours and would pause, and it would sit there for 4 hours, but the L minus clock would say L minus 8 hours and continue ticking. When it hits L minus 4 hours, the T minus clock would resume. So T minus clocks are more the operational sequence of a countdown. Things have to be done by certain times. They can hold at certain points. L minus is set by the current T0 that the launch provider is currently targeting. So it can be slipped and delayed by a few seconds, or if there's a longer hold, it can slip. But L minus is that real world time. Do I have enough time to run to the kitchen and make a coffee and a thing of popcorn before liftoff? Do I have enough time to run outside and hopefully see the launch in 2 minutes? Those type of things. So that's why we use the L minus clock. It's more real world. We are working to update our countdown system a little bit. You're going to probably see that in the coming week or two to make that a little bit clear to you guys on opening of windows, closings of windows, payload deployments, and things like that. We're also working to hopefully be able to extend our Starlink coverage to stay online, answering your guys' questions until payload deployment. So working on lots of things in the background. If you're just joining us, though, take a moment, engage the subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage. Welcome, my name is Zach, the founder and host here at the Launchpad. On behalf of the entire TOP crew, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. Mark says, great to hear your voice back on the stream, Zach. I appreciate that, Mark. The goal is for me, unless it's 3 a.m., and I'm definitely streaming from the studio at 3 a.m., I plan on being on commentary as much as I can. But we are working on having some more people join our crew as launch commentators as well. I'll train them and make sure that they're up to the standard you guys expect, because the launch schedules are getting so busy that I think it would be easy to say next year, sometime next year, we will likely have 2 active countdowns, or an active countdown and a Starship test happening at Starship static fire test or rollout or something happening at the same time, and probably a NASA news conference, which means there's 3 things at once, and I can't do 3 things at once, and that's an exciting reason why we're looking at expanding the team. So if you're interested in becoming a launch commentator, a producer, a moderator, definitely check out that crew application. We're excited to have some of you join us. You can work from anywhere in the world. They're volunteer positions. As long as you know English, you can be part of the TLP crew, and we're excited to welcome many of you on. Catching up on your guys' comments and questions in the chat. You can keep sending those in. Penelope says, great end for a fabulous weekend here in San Diego. The air show has wrapped up, and this is a way to close off the weekend. Let's light this candle. That is awesome, Penelope. Hope that you had an amazing weekend and an amazing time at the air show. Andrew, do you guys think that we'll be able to see this in Arizona tonight? Yes, I do. I'll see if I can bring up an image here. I would normally bring it up a lot more prettily, but we're working on getting some new stuff online to be able to bring you guys a bit of a better glimpse at launch coverage and things like that. But this is a graphic from our very own Dylan here at TLP. So definitely make sure we're working on getting these out on social media a bit sooner and including them in our broadcasts here as well. But if you happen to be anywhere in the purple or the blue box, there is a chance that you could see today's launch. Now, this is a chance. It obviously depends on elevation, weather conditions, air conditions, cloud conditions, I think I said elevation, buildings, all of that. But you can see that launch trajectory there, hugging the coast. And then, yeah, if you're anywhere in that purple or that blue, the white shaded area, there's a chance that you could see liftoff or launch at some point during the flight here today. This is what we're calling a very visible flight due to the time of launch, that the sun will still illuminate some of the plumes. So great opportunity to be able to see today's launch opportunity. So if you're anywhere in that area and you take photos or videos, make sure you, one, try to take a selfie. It's always fun to try to get one of those. And two, send us any photos or videos you take on X, TLPN_official, or over on our TLP Discord. We'll try to bring some of those up here on stream or feature them on a future broadcast where launch visibility may be possible as well. Again, shout out to Dylan for that graphic. Little taste of many things that we are working on for here in the future. What is time for launch? We got the countdown in the top right corner, L minus 10 minutes and counting. Where is the recovery ship? Recovery ships are stationed downrange along that line. That's something we're working to bring into future broadcasts as well. We're testing out some systems to be able to do that. But they are stationed downrange with the drone ship and a support ship to recover the booster and the fairings. If you're just joining us, oh, Cuban, thank you so much for becoming a lunar explorer. Thank you for that support at that level. I really appreciate that, and so does the crew. That really does help us continue with these broadcast expansions, bringing you guys even better coverage. So thank you so much for supporting us at that level. I'm going to take a very, very quick commentary break to link in with our rocket chaser down on the west space coast, and we will continue with our countdown. L minus 8 minutes, 25 seconds and counting to liftoff. Stay with us. And if you're just joining us, you can see there SpaceX beginning their broadcast here. L minus 6 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting till launch. In a moment, we'll sync our T0 with SpaceX's as we count down these final minutes till flight. At this time, engine chill has begun on Falcon 9 as we continue through our countdown here this evening. L minus 5 minutes, 40 seconds and counting. If you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad and our live countdown to launch coverage for SpaceX Starlink 11-20, set to launch from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. We are counting down to a liftoff time of 7:04 p.m. local time, 10:04 p.m. Eastern, with 28 Starlink V2 minis on board Falcon 9, ready to head up to low Earth orbit. So we come down to L minus 5 minutes and counting. We expect SpaceX to begin their live feed here in just a second. And once they do, we will, of course, pair up our launch T0 with theirs. On the right side of your screen, live look at the latest weather imagery coming in from the GOES weather satellites up in orbit, giving us an idea of the cloud cover. Looks like weather-wise going to be a pretty decent time for launch here today. One of the watch items is, of course, the wind. As always, if you guys have questions, you can send them in the chat by tagging me at the launch pad, and I'll work on answering those live while we continue through today's broadcast. And there is a live look at Slick 4E, Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. L minus 4 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. A little bit of a delay on the timeline there, so let me sync our countdown clocks with them in just a moment. There we go. T minus 4 minutes, 37 seconds and counting till liftoff. We do have the SpaceX feed now patched in, so we can hear those callouts from the mission control director.
Strong back retract has started.
Looks like a beautiful day or night at Vandenberg. Hopefully going to have a wonderful launch here this evening. There's a look at that fairing where 28 Starlink satellites are currently on board. Interesting thing there, you can see where looks like some of the stickers were likely removed from an earlier mission. You can see where that they have been recovered, and you can see that bit of clean areas revealed. Coming down to T minus 3 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. At L minus 1 minute in the count, that is when Falcon 9 will take over the count and pressurize its tanks to flight levels. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us. Money here, have the list of names been launched yet? I assume you're talking about Lunex 1. No, those have not been launched yet. We're waiting for an updated timeline on when those will be launched. The moment that we have one, we will, of course, announce those.
Load is complete.
There's that call out that LOX load is now complete on the first stage. Teams continuing to monitor as Propellant finishes its top-ups.
Stage 2 lock load is complete.
There we are, coming down to L- 90 seconds and counting. As always, let's see that go, no go for launch in the chat. If you're a TLP member, don't forget to use those custom TLP launch emotes.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
LD is go for launch. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 15 seconds. T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
MOD chamber pressures are nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Max Q.
I'm back chill.
And you're looking at a live view from Big Bear of SpaceX Starlink 11-20. Huge thank you to SoCal Mountains for this incredible camera shot there coming in of the launch here this evening as we get ready for MECO and stage separation.
Stage separation confirmed.
This is a great example of why we said this was a high visibility
I'm back startup.
launch here this evening.
Nominal trajectory.
Bearing separation confirmed.
And those 28 Starlink satellites now exposed to the vacuum of space for the very first time as the fairing continues. An incredible, beautiful shot from Big Bear. And a huge thank you to SoCal Mountains. Little teaser of things that we're working on, not only for California, but for around the world as well. You can see why this was considered a high visibility launch. Beautiful plume coming there from the second stage. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage. We might actually be able to see the first stage there, actually. Yeah, I believe that's the first stage we are seeing conduct its entry burn. Yeah, that's what that is. So the big plume on the upper side, that is second stage. The second little plume at the bottom, that is the first stage, beginning its journey back to Earth. See if we can keep that first stage in view. Keep in mind, this is shooting a very long distance at this point, hundreds of miles. Coming up on that entry burn here shortly. So we're just seeing those thruster firings from the first stage. Entry burn has not occurred as of yet, so bear with me there. You can see that first stage continuing to head down towards entry burn. Second stage continuing under power. Second stage now 153 kilometers in altitude. Second stage 87 kilometers in altitude. Stand by for entry burn of the first stage. We might be able to see it. It's going to be close.
Stage 1 STS has saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There is the entry burn. You can see at the bottom of your screen. Second stage continuing under power on the far left edge of your screen. T plus 6 minutes, 22 seconds into flight. And that entry burn going to take it just behind those mountains. The second stage going to continue its burn as the first stage prepares for landing. Beautiful view of that second stage over the SoCal Mountains. Again, this is why we call this a high visibility launch. If you happen to get photos or videos of today, make sure you tag us on X, TLPN_official,
Stage 2 STS has saved.
or send them to us over on our Discord. The link is in the description and in the chat. We are going to cut back to SpaceX's feed as a priority here for the landing burn as Falcon 9 attempts to land here on the drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Stage 1 landing burn. Stage 1 landing light deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
I'm back. Shutdown.
There's that confirmation of MVAC shutdown. A beautiful launch from the Vandenberg Space Coast. Second stage will now continue on a coast phase as it continues in its initial parking orbit. It will conduct a second burn 53 minutes 19 seconds into flight for 1 second to finalize it into its deployment orbit. And deployment of those 28 Starlink satellites will occur 1 hour 11 seconds after liftoff. Now, unfortunately, SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of the Starlink missions, so you're going to have to stay tuned to social media for confirmation of that. But if it was your first time here, definitely make sure you engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage. Again, a huge thank you to SoCal Mountains for this incredible view of the launch here tonight. Taking a look at the launch schedule coming up ahead, our next live coverage will be for Starlink 10-59, launching on Friday at 1:39 a.m. Eastern Time from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral. But for now, from our TLP Canada studio, my name's Zach, and we will see you next time because space is better together. Good night.